This is Yucca, and I'm filling in for Feather on the Friday spot here on Pagan Perspective. So, this week we have two different topics which are kind of related, and they are about resources, good pagan resources, and right and wrong reasons for exploring a path. So, the first question comes from Pagan Punk, and I'm not going to read it because the folks before me already have. But basically, they have a friend who's recently exploring paganism, or Wicca specifically, they said, and they feel like they maybe are doing it for the wrong reasons. And on top of that, their parents aren't really excited about that, would be opposed to the friend doing this. And so they say that they feel like it's the wrong reasons for exploring it, and what can they do to help this friend? So the first thing about that, I think, is looking at right and wrong reasons. And I think it's very often difficult for us to tell what is right and what is wrong for someone else, and how it's going to play out in the grand scheme of things. So the best thing I think that you can do for this friend is to actually just be there for them as a friend, because it sounds like what they're going through a difficult time and just need people's support. So maybe the exploration of Wicca is going to bring them back to their Christian path. Maybe it's going to bring them to something of a Christo-Wiccan path, or who knows, maybe it isn't going to be something specific like something that you can put a name on, because I think that we gather our lives are made up of many different experiences, many different opinions, and they don't always have to fit into a specific category. They can come from many different places to make up who we are. So just to try and be there for that friend as much as you can, and support them and let them and trust them to make those decisions that they need to for themselves. So the second part of that question, as well as really the other question, is about good resources. And it specifically asks for Wiccan resources. I'm not a Wiccan, but I'm just going to treat that as a general neo-paganism. So I got two books that for me have been really great resources, and they kind of come from the same thought, the same group of people. But the first is this one, The Earth Path, and I think I would have been 15 or 16 when this came out and when I got it, and I think this is one of the most influential books for me, and it's something that I would advise, I would actually have given copies of to not only people interested in paganism, but atheists and Christians as well, just because of how powerful some of the exercises are in here. And this particular book doesn't really focus on the ritual parts or the history or anything like that. It really focuses on helping the reader connect with the earth, and it goes through basically it's split up into the elements, and it's a mix of these beautiful journal entries and exercises that you can do, and if you follow it through, it really helps you to learn how to ground and observe and to create a much stronger, very nourishing and feeding relationship with the earth. So The Earth Path by Starhawk. I actually really love most of her other work as well. The Spiral Dance is great in terms of an introduction to Wicca or witchcraft. The Fifth Sacred Thing is incredibly powerful, and actually, in fact, most of her things I really connect with, and I think she's a pretty great person too. So the second one is a little bit more heady. It's Drawing Down the Moon, and this one is more about the history and a lot of documentation. It's by Margaret Alder, and for me, one of the things that bothers me about a lot of pagan books, is that there isn't really documentation, and I'm really big on that. I want to know, where did these sources come from? How can I find them? And this really has it, and it goes through. It specifically focuses on the U.S., but it's really the history of neo-paganism in the U.S. So for someone interested in a more scholarly approach, I'd say this book for sure. And one who's really interested in just developing a really strong relationship with the earth and their own path, definitely the earth path. So, hope you guys have a great week, and definitely watch some of the other videos. They've been great so far. A lot of great advice, and take care. Okay,